let us try to understand the concept of limiting reagent. And before getting into the detailing of this limiting reagent, we'll try to take a very simple example first. So firstly, here you can see at the picture, it will be as the bread and butter taken here. And the count of bread slices that we have taken here is 6, and here we have taken a bottle of peanut butter. So I have to prepare sandwich of peanut butter. And the conditions here are, like for preparing this sandwich, we'll be requiring 2 slices of bread plus 1 spoon of peanut butter. That will be making 1 sandwich of this peanut butter. Okay. Now let us suppose that if we are just having the 6 slices as it is as shown here in the diagram, but the amount of peanut butter, we just have it as 1 spoon of peanut butter. In that case, what will be the total count of sandwiches that we can be getting over there? So in that case, it is only possible for us to make 1 sandwich. So it means we can see here the one which is present in lesser amount, that is 1 spoon of the peanut butter, is deciding the number of sandwiches that we can prepare out of it. So always the one which is taken in lesser amount will be determining or will be limiting the amount of product form. This is what we'll be trying to understand in this concept of limiting reagent. But this limiting reagent has a lot to do with the stoichiometry. As an example, just try to take here, it was 2 slices of bread and then 1 spoon of peanut butter, that was giving us 1 sandwich, right? So these numbers in terms of a chemical reaction can be considered as stoichiometric coefficient. So hence it is really important for us to know how to balance a chemical reaction. So first, just to brush up our basics, we'll try to balance few chemical reaction. Yeah. So this reaction where nitrogen plus hydrogen is giving us ammonia. So how to balance that? First we'll do one thing, we'll put it the stoichiometric coefficient as 1 for all the reactants and even the products. On the reactant side, the count of nitrogen is 1 into 2, so that is totally 2 nitrogens on the reactant side, and on the product side the count of nitrogen is just 1, so which is not balanced. So to make it balanced with the count of nitrogen, I'll make it as 2NH3. Now going to the count of hydrogen, on the reactant side it is 2, on the product side it is 6. So on the reactant side also we have to balance it, so it will be 3H2. Hence here the reaction is N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3, and yes, our reaction is balanced. Next one, that is separating water. So hydrogen count here, we'll first just make it as 1 each. So the count of hydrogen on the reactant side is 2, on the product side is also 2, so that is balanced. Count of oxygen on reactant side is 1, but on the product side it is 2. So on the reactant side also we have to make it as 2. But after doing this, we can see that the count of hydrogen has increased to 4. On the product side, we can see it is just 2. So we have to also increase that, and now it is balanced. It will be as 2H2O, which is giving 2H2 plus O2. We'll just do one more, that is combustion of methane. First, we'll just put it as 1 for all the reactants and products, and then try to see. Carbon count on reactant side is 1, on the product side is also 1. So that's totally fine. Hydrogen count on the reactant side is 4, on the product side it is 2. So we'll just try to balance that first. Now I have made it as 4 again for the hydrogen on both sides. For oxygen it is 2 on the reactant side, but on the product side we can have a total count of 4. So hence on the reactant side also we have to make it as 4. Now this way we have balanced the chemical equations, which is very important for our basics of limiting reagent. So as already discussed, what is a limiting reagent? It is the reactant which gets completely consumed during the course of the reaction. Or in other sense, we can also say that it is the one which will be present in the lesser amount, but it is the one which gets completely consumed. So this reactant will always limit the amount of product formed. Hence it is known as limiting reagent. And this limiting reagent can be determined if we are already aware of the amount of all reactants and the mole ratio of it. Apart from that, we can just have a look on the reaction here. It's the initial moles of limiting reagent that will give the moles of product which are going to be formed. This concept of limiting reagent, it is only applicable for the reactions where it will be having more than one reactant. It is not applicable for the reactions which are monomolecular reactions. See here, the point is, if you just have one reactant, there is nothing as X's or less. Simply, there is nothing as a comparison left for us to determine the limiting reagent. So, in the reactions which are mononuclear reactions, we will not be observing this concept of limiting reagent.